3.5 years ago, I had just come out of a relationship. I was overeating with every meal. I was drinking far more than I wanted, constantly overthinking and making myself quite small at work. In fact, I didn't even have the guts to ask for a salary raise. I felt quite anxious, self-critical, and frankly, I didn't even recognize myself anymore. And it was that moment when I made a decision that I wanted to completely reinvent my life from the inside out. I did move to another city, I cut out all the distractions, and I did something that most people still roll their eyes at, which is positive affirmations. It absolutely was awkward and cringy at first, but I was desperate enough to do it every single day. And the wildest part is that it did in fact work. I stopped binging altogether and started wanting to nourish myself. I also left the job that underpaid me and started my own business from scratch. And I stopped second guessing myself, quieted that anxiety, and became the most confident version of myself that I've ever known. And I can absolutely tell you without a doubt that there's not been a single habit that's changed my life more than the positive affirmations. And the reason this is because it goes so much deeper than just another productivity hack or healthy habit. Positive affirmations is really about reprogramming your identity and about who you become and not just about what you do. And before I tell you exactly how and when to do positive affirmations, let's quickly talk science. Because what most people still dismiss as this hippy-dippy nonsense is actually based on neuroscience. Real and proven brain science and behavioral change that I've learned over the years as a certified nutritionist and health coach. And at the heart of it, it is something called neuroplasticity, which is essentially your brain's ability to rewire itself at any given age. Whether you're 20 or 80, you can literally still reprogram how you feel, think, act, and respond for life. And I'm actually going to use the help of Dr. Izzy Seeley, a Cambridge doctor, to break it all down in super simple terms so it's easy to understand, because I think she really explained it perfectly. Now, at the core of why positive affirmations work so well is something called Hebb's Law, which says that
neurons that fire together wire together. Essentially, neural pathways that are used more frequently get strengthened, and it's easier for them to fire again next time. On the other hand, neural pathways that are neglected or not used start to wither away over time and become a little bit more defunct or difficult to use.
And now this means whatever you repeat over and over again, your brain believes. The more you feed your brain the same thought, whether that's positive or negative, the more it strengthens that pathway. And I really like the analogy to think of it as this well-trodden trail inside your mind.
So if you imagine an overgrown jungle and you want to break a path through it, you need to fight your way through the vegetation. And the more that you tread down this path through the vegetation, the clearer the path actually becomes and the easier it gets to use over time, because you cleared away some of this grass this time, you've trampled it. So there's a clearer and clearer path, there's less vegetation over time. On the flip side, if you don't tread down that path for a long time, it starts to become more and more overgrown, obstructed, and difficult to use over time, because the vegetation kind of grows back in and makes the path more difficult to walk down. And a very similar thing is true of the brain. So the neuroscience behind rewiring our brain is that we need to practice the neural pathways that we want to encourage, the ones that help us to take steps to become our higher self, become the person that we want to be, and avoid feeding any neural pathways that we actually don't want. So those ones that self-sabotage us or that hold us back from fulfilling our potential.
And that's why positive affirmations actually work. It's no woo-woo magic, it's neuro wiring. And once you understand that, you will see just how powerful positive affirmations are. Now, how do we actually rewire our brain? It comes down to what Dr. Izzy calls the 2 C's: clearing and cultivation. Clearing is all about weakening those old patterns that no longer serve us. That could be self-critical thoughts, overreactions, anxiety spirals, or just outdated beliefs that keep us stuck. And yes, of course, you can try to really work through those thoughts by meditating, journaling, becoming more aware of them, and then ultimately letting go of them. But honestly, I found a much easier and more effective way is by simply just giving them less airtime. And you do that through cultivation, which means actively building those new neural pathways by using things like positive affirmations and visualization. Because the more you repeat positive thoughts, the less space there is for negative ones. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you're fat or ugly, not worthy of love or success, your brain literally takes it in as its truth. But the beautiful thing here is that it also works in reverse. And even if you don't fully believe that positive stuff at first, If you keep repeating it, your brain will gradually accept it as your new normal, because your brain will believe whatever you tell it consistently and repeatedly. Your thoughts really shape the way you see yourself, how you react to the world, and what you think is possible for yourself. Just like that jungle path analogy, the more often you walk that new route, the clearer and easier it becomes over time. Now let's talk about visualization, which to me goes hand in hand with affirmations. When you repeat a positive statement, especially when it's out loud, your brain will automatically start imagining it. And that's quite powerful. There's a study from 2003 that showed when people just visualized doing a task, their brain lit up in almost exactly the same way as if they were actually doing the task. So by clearly visualizing something, whether that is showing up confidently or giving a presentation successfully or even walking into your dream job, you're literally strengthening those same neural pathways and therefore increasing the chances of it actually becoming a reality. And that's why I truly believe that positive affirmations don't just shift your mindset or make you more confident, but they can help you attract the right opportunities, take more aligned action, and even manifest things like finding a new job or building that business or finding love. Because when you repeat something often enough with enough conviction, you finally stop doubting it and act like it's already happening. And that's when your brain starts filtering the world completely differently. It starts looking for evidence in the external world to support that new version of you. And in time, your external world is going to start reflecting and mirroring back to you your internal identity shift. And as a result, you will start noticing the right people, the right places, and the right possibilities. And that's when things start to click. So now that you know just how powerful positive affirmations are, you're probably wondering, okay, but how and what should I exactly be doing? So after that breakup that I mentioned at the beginning, I locked in hard for 3 to 4 months. Granted, I had just moved to a new city. I didn't really know anyone. I knew I was only going to be there for 6 months. And I also worked from home. And so my priority really wasn't in going out and meeting people, but the perfect setup to go all in on myself. I honestly think back to those times sometimes and really wish I could just replicate them. I 100% without a doubt had the healthiest routine going for myself that I've ever had. Every single healthy habit that you can think of, I pretty much did. And it came naturally and effortlessly. It was amazing. I didn't have to put in loads of willpower or discipline to really stick with it. It just came naturally because I was so thirsty for improvement and self-development. I would naturally wake up at 5 a.m. because I went to bed so early. And the first thing I did was put on positive affirmations. No joke. Like I would roll out of bed and my headphones were already ready on my dresser. I put them on Bluetooth headphones so I could walk around freely and leave my phone in my bedroom. So literally already on my way to the toilet, that's when I started listening to positive affirmations every single morning for those 3 to 4 months. And then while they played in the background, I would just go about my other morning rituals and habits. So I'd make my bed, I would rinse my retainer, I would go outside, soak up some sunlight, take my probiotics, stretch, maybe do the dishes from the day before, then make some tea and breakfast. So literally anything where I could have those positive affirmations in the background, letting those words sink into my subconsciousness, but also whenever possible, repeating them back to myself. And listen, I'm well aware that this level of intensity is probably not very realistic for anyone long term. But if you can do it daily for just 30 days, I will guarantee you that it's going to work its wonders and it's going to shift something for you. And then after those 30 days, you can reduce it to maybe 3 times a week, as long as you just stay consistent. I mean, with everything, consistency is really key here. And I did it religiously for those first 3 to 4 months. And then even after that, I'd say for 6 months, I was really going to town with my positive affirmations. And then only after that, I probably went down to 2 to 3 times a week for the past 3 years. And you really don't need hours. Like the more you do it, obviously the better. But even those 5 to 10 minutes a day, or at least 3 times a week, can truly change your life. And I know this always sounds so bold to like change your life, but it truly is so powerful. I would love for you to just be able to see exactly where I was and then what has shifted since I've started doing it. But I would really like to challenge you to just try it yourself. Maybe pick 3 to 5 affirmations that really deeply resonate with you at first, and then let that be enough. and then just listen to them and repeat them back to yourself every single morning for those 30 days. And the best time to do it is right in the morning when you wake up. And there's a reason for that. So when you're waking up, your brain is slowly transitioning from your deep sleep, which are your delta waves, into more alert states where you're ready to get up and ready to go about your day, which are more like alpha and theta waves. And during that window is when neuroplasticity is at its peak, which means your brain is quite literally like a sponge. And that is the perfect time to reprogram your subconscious mind with all the thoughts and behaviors you want to believe and do. This is also exactly why you shouldn't be checking your phone right when you wake up. Emails, news, social media, all those notifications, that's just flooding your still very fragile brain with stress and noise and should really wait until late in the day. So let your brain soak in your energy first and not the world's. Now, my absolute favorite affirmations to get started with, and even to this day, are by Bob Baker. He's got them on literally every topic out there. So every morning I would just kind of scroll through or have already some saved and ask myself, what's something that needs its little boost for the day? Some days it was my career or finding my purpose. On other days it was my confidence or healthy eating or worrying less, stressing less, stopping that mindless overeating. Literally anything you're kind of struggling with and where you want to see change, you just go listen to them. And the more I listen to different podcasts and affirmation recordings and all that, the more I obviously realized which ones really hit home, which ones really resonated, which ones really stuck with me, and which ones made me feel something. And then eventually, once I've already had seen some progress, I wanted to go even deeper with this. And so what I did is I went even more specific and a more personalized route, if you will, to really target those specific thought patterns. And the way I did it, I began writing down every single positive affirmation that really kind of hit home and resonated with me. And then I also asked ChatGPT to create a list for certain topics, categories, or thought patterns, and just ask for positive affirmations that would trigger exactly that. And so then from all those different areas where I thought I wanted to progress and needed some work, I literally just handpicked the ones that really felt right. And with those ones, I compiled my own ultimate positive affirmations list, if you will, tailored to just me and exactly what I needed. And then to take it even a step further, what I did was to actually record myself saying these affirmations out loud and then leaving a little space afterwards to repeat them back to myself, if that makes sense. So instead of listening to someone else's voice, I would listen to my own recording. So I had my own voice talking to me twice, if that makes sense. And that recording with those personalized affirmations, I would then listen to every single day. And set aside how cringy it is to at first hear your voice and hear those things said with such conviction, because obviously some of those things you really don't believe at the time. That's the whole point. You say them out loud until you believe them. So disregard all of that. Other than that, it is incredibly powerful because your brain will find it so much easier to register it as the truth, because it's kind of like your own thoughts talking to yourself, which is what it's usually used to with like negative thoughts. So this time your brain is constantly listening to your own voice, but this time with positive thoughts. So it really has no other option but to believe what you're saying. Plus it also feels quite personal. So it's almost like your personal pep talk every single morning. Like, you've got this and just keep cracking on. And as I already said, the thing I love about that is that you can personalize it to the tiniest detail. Mine was about confidence, about body image, about my career and finding my dream job and my self-worth and eating habits. And it's like, you can literally just put everything in there that you need to hear every single day. Like, that is incredible. And the best part is that it is so easy to integrate in your life. I listen to it on my walks, driving to the gym, driving to work, while you're brewing your coffee. Listen, you can even listen to it while you're in the shower. Or if you really have no time, listen to it while you're on the toilet. There's always 5 to 10 minutes where you can put something on. People nowadays listen to so many podcasts and watch so much Netflix and YouTube videos and whatnot. You will find 5 to 10 minutes to listen to your own voice. And one more thing about the awkwardness and the cringiness, just try and not overthink it. I would love for you to just normalize the discomfort and really embrace it, because eventually it will become so much more normal. Like it's whatever. You just listen to your own voice and repeat it back, and it will probably look stupid from the outside, but it works. So, and another thing that really matters is you always need to have your affirmations in present tense, even if you believe it's not true just yet. So instead of saying, I will be my most confident self, you would say, I am my most confident self. Even if you don't believe it, that's the whole point. And if the I am blank, let's say confident, feels way too far off, then at least try something like, I'm working on becoming my most confident self. That is still the present tense and actively saying you are doing it now. Still positive, still powerful. That's what we want. And so just something I want you to understand about positive affirmations is I know it all too well what it feels like to stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I don't like this about myself, I don't like that about myself. But the only reason you truly believe that is because you kept telling yourself that over the years, over decades maybe even, repeatedly and over again. So your brain literally has no other choice to believe that. The same thing works with positive thoughts as well though. So why not flip it? Say the good stuff on repeat and it will work the exact same. And if you're someone who needs a little nudge to stay on track, use a habit tracker or just whatever helps you stay consistent. I can quite honestly say that positive affirmations helped me through burnout, gave me the confidence to start working for myself, take those sale calls, be more proactive, and really back myself. It completely transformed the way I saw myself, what I believed I was capable of, and what I was able to manifest in life. And so, bold statement, but one that I fully believe: people who practice self-affirmations consistently are more successful in life. Prove me wrong, but I'm convinced of that. So no more self-sabotage. Let's reprogram our brain's default settings and rewire our brain for success, happiness, and contentment. Start today, just 5 minutes.